Oh, thank you, Neil. Yeah, so move your neck around in a way that feels supportive to you. You can bring your shoulders up to your ears and drop them down. Open and close your mouth wide, just supporting your jaw to release any tension. And then take a few deep breaths. I find it helpful to have my hand on my belly to just encourage that belly breath. And sighing on the out breath. You can make the sigh audible. Just doing that 3 times. Then just noticing, how is your body sitting? How is your posture? Could you make any adjustments to be more comfortable? Just arriving in the space together. Becoming aware of your physical space, the room you're in, the sounds, inside, outside. And then just bringing into your awareness the rooms that have gathered, the people that have gathered. That you're not just sitting alone in your space right now, but you're connected to these other spaces. Letting the others in this gathering be there with you through your awareness. And then bringing this shrine room into your awareness, whether you've been here or not. The energetic field of this shrine room is reaching out towards you, this place of practice. And the mountain, Mbuleni Mountain in the southern Drakensberg, with all the trees and plants and wild ones and the stream. Also allowing the space to enter into your awareness. That you're not sitting alone in any way, but with all of this. We're all here together in some way. And also bringing to your awareness any teachers or guides or ancestors, whoever comes into your heart space. Also invite them in, welcome them. The ancestors of this mountain, all the energies that support this space, they're also here with us. Ancestors of the lands where you are. Invite in whoever would like to join us, whoever is here for our highest good. They're all welcome. With gratitude. So welcome everyone to all of us. And I'd just like to share a little bit before I start. Before we do, well, I have started, but I'd just like to share a little bit before we go into a sitting meditation. It's a Wednesday evening. I don't know what that means for you within your week, but I have a sense that we're meeting right in the middle of the week, in the middle of work, family commitments, that we've all kind of put these things down and decided to clear some space to be together, to practice together. And that's really beautiful. choosing to clear some space to kind of experience this present moment together. And I'm so aware, especially because it's the middle of the week, I don't know what your days are like, but my days are often busyness in my head, planning, things I need to do, anxieties, frustrations, discussions about money. Today we had lots of discussions about money, um, or stretching back to the past, things I've done before, places I'd like to be, places I wish I could go back to. So we're always like, right, very often in the past, moving into the future. And it's this opportunity to just come into the present moment, to rest in the present moment. It's a precious opportunity, which is part of what I kind of wanted to reflect on, is this question of what is meditation. And for me, that's part of it. It's this engagement with this present moment. I think we can often think of meditation in terms of the form of it, that if we just the word meditation, the images that it conjures up is the Buddha very elegantly sitting in this posture that might feel impossible for many of us. Or I think today there's also, it can conjure up an image of a fairly attractive looking person sitting, cross-legged, their hands in a posture, kind of eyes closed, looking very easeful and dignified, we don't kind of think of ourselves in our like dirty tracksuits, kind of like struggling in our positions. So we can, and I think we live in a culture that's very concerned with forms, that's kind of obsessed with what things look like, inhabiting a persona. Not that the form is not important. I find something very supportive of a posture that I've come into repeatedly, because it's like you're creating a home with a posture, So it's of course important to find that easeful posture. But if we look at meditation in this, if we get stuck in the form, I think we can get caught in seeing meditation as something that only happens at certain times of the day with certain conditions, as opposed to a practice that can be threaded to our experience through the day. So what is it when we go beyond the form, when we really explore what's happening in that time, which kind of makes it meditation? And for me, it's a kind of a practice of gathering my awareness, to come into the present moment and to be with my experience as it is emerging right now. So a practice of meeting my experience. And that's something we can do through the day, as we're driving our car, as we're smoking a cigarette. And I remember this was something Pema Chodron teaching that I read years ago, where she speaks about this thing of, well, just, this awareness of what you're doing it as you're doing it, what you're doing as you're doing it. And she used the example, as you smoke a cigarette, as you're smoking, become aware of the in-breath, become aware of, the out-breath. And that really struck me in that moment, because I realized I had a sense that there are certain things that kind of deserve my awareness, and there are other things that kind of don't deserve my awareness, that this practice of meditation or mindfulness was something I should only apply to wholesome things, so like maybe when I'm eating like kind of organic, healthy food, as opposed to when I'm eating samba chips. But I think it's very helpful to remember that it's simply just bringing our awareness to our experience, no matter what we're experiencing. it's connecting to that capacity of our awareness to accept everything and reject nothing. And in a sense, cultivating that capacity for us to accept everything and reject nothing. It reminds me of Dogen's definition of enlightenment, that it's intimacy with all things, which is not very easy, right? I mean, there's certain things that it feels very easy to be intimate with. There's certain things I really want to be intimate with, my feelings of joy, play. But what about intimacy with my anger, with my frustration, with my impatience? What about intimacy with my resistance? And something happens as we do this practice of bringing our awareness to the present moment, to our experience as it's unfolding, as we turn towards it. Without realizing it, in some ways, we're cultivating a relationship of friendship towards ourselves and towards our experience, including those experiences that we most want to turn away from. I remember having this realization actually sitting in this shrine room on the last day of a 10-day retreat, where I was just reflecting on, and I remember feeling like I was much, calmer and definitely clearer, but there were certain kind of energetic patterns, tendencies that I'd been sitting with through those days, and they were kind of still there. They weren't gone, maybe, but what had changed in that period was my attitude towards them. And I realized that there was a kind of friendliness which described for me a kind of, it was actually, I remember feeling it was a kindness, like that there was a kind of kindness with which I was sitting with these feelings. And it was this moment of realizing, wow, like just choosing every day during this retreat to rest my awareness on my difficult feelings, on the tension in my body. Without realizing it, I had cultivated this kindness towards myself. And it was powerful for me because I always found loving kindness a particularly difficult, especially when, I have to practice it towards myself. I've always found that challenging. Oof, how do I just start being kind to myself when for much of my life my self-talk has been quite negative? Where does that come from? But somehow just choosing to be aware of my experience again and again and again, that was a kindness. Because when we turn to our experience, when we're aware of a feeling, we're no longer that feeling. We create a bit of distance. When I know I am angry, when I see the anger, when I hear the anger, I'm not the anger. It's an experience that the awareness knows. And that awareness, our awareness, has a kind of inbuilt kindness. It doesn't judge. It doesn't look at the feeling as good or bad. It receives. It's able to receive it. And isn't that in a way what kindness is? That feeling of being received, of being listened to. Much much in the way that a friend listens to us. When we bring our awareness to our experience, when we listen to ourselves in that way, we're cultivating a friendship with ourselves. Another thing I wanted to touch on was how I've realized that, in terms of how I look at meditation and how I define it, and also this thing of what we include and exclude and what we value and not value, I've also had this understanding of, oh, there's such a thing as a good meditation and a bad meditation. So those moments when I'm able to really, you know, witness my feelings and soften to them and receive them and allow them to move through, I feel like, wow, okay, that's really great. Or the moments where I'm able to be present with my breath, and really rest in the breath and feel it and enjoy it. That feels great. And then I have this sense of, okay, those other moments where I'm stuck in my resistance, where I'm getting lost in stories, that's bad, right? That's a bad meditation. In a sense, I don't look at it as meditation, which means that in a half an hour sit, I kind of, in my head, I've only meditated for maybe 5 minutes, because 25 minutes is maybe spent in resistance and not wanting to be here. But but what if meditation is the whole process? What if those moments of forgetting and getting lost are also have their purpose, also have their place? If we take this thing of enlightenment being intimacy with all things, isn't that a thing to also bring in to our intimacy? And it's this process of, for me, it's very much this process of a lot of resistance. I think that's like a main thing I sit with, of like not wanting to feel, not wanting to do this, but then and turning away from my experience. And then these moments of turning towards. And those moments are so powerful. Each of those moments are reshaping reshaping me, in a sense, reshaping my consciousness, teaching me to, and each time feels like it's healing and kind of unwinding an old pattern of turning away and creating a new pattern of turning towards. It's part of that cultivation of friendship. So I think it's really helpful to also see that whole process as meditation. And through the day, because we need those threads, we need to see that, when we have these moments of practice where we clear out time to sit or walk or stand or lie down and gather our awareness to meet our experience, that we're cultivating this practice so that we it can so that it can show up more in our daily lives, so that we can bring those challenging moments within our daily lives into our awareness, so that we can turn to our experience in the middle of a fight as opposed to turn away, you know. In one of the suttas, the Buddha's teacher, Buddha's student, Ananda, says to him something about friendship being half of the spiritual path. And the Buddha says, no, it's the whole of the spiritual path. And what could be more precious than cultivating that friendship with ourselves, with our experience, turning towards it, however challenging, however messy, cultivating that capacity we all have. It's really something we're born with. I truly believe this and know this in a sense that we're all born with this capacity to truly listen and allow it to unfold. So I'd like to invite you to find a posture, whether it's lying down or standing or sitting. Just connecting with your body again, noticing how it is right now. Just scanning through, asking your body, are you comfortable? Are there any adjustments that will support you? Finding a way of being in ease with your body right now. Becoming aware of your breath. If it supports you, taking a few deeper breaths. And then allowing your breath to settle in a natural rhythm. Just noticing the breath. It might feel tight and shallow or deep and full. Is it possible to notice the breath without judgment? However shallow, feeling the nourishing qualities of the breath. Noticing where it's most easeful to feel the breath in your body. For me, it's in my belly or diaphragm. Perhaps you can connect with it more easily at the nostrils. Finding the place that feels most pleasant. bringing into your awareness your body, maybe certain parts of your body are calling out to you more. Allow your awareness to go to these parts, turning towards them. Parts of your body that are asking for your attention, for your listening. Allowing your body to guide you as to where your awareness is calling to be, is calling to be rest, is calling to rest. Where your awareness is being called. whatever feelings arise, whether they feel pleasant or unpleasant, just even the feeling of resistance, not wanting to feel. Is it possible to make space for them as visitors, to listen to them as a dear friend would listen to us, without trying to be friendly, but simply allowing them, simply seeing them, witnessing. If it helps, you can also use some words, something like, I'm allowed to feel this, or you're allowed. Whatever could work for you to support this invitation of your experience, to support this turning towards. And noticing what happens in those moments when we're able to turn towards, to listen to our experience, however small that moment may be. Perhaps a feeling of softening, of releasing, being received, however slight. Sometimes just a little relief to not be fighting, to not be resisting. So we have some time now and space for anyone who'd like to share anything, reflections, questions, whatever is arising for you from this practice, from life. All is welcome.
Just wanted to say it's good to see you.
You too, Alma. It's so good. Thank you for coming. It feels like you're here.
Back here on the mountain.
Yeah, I'm now in Berlin. I have been traveling a lot. So, but really, yeah, it's interesting how it works with the energy even through Zoom, you know, quite fascinating. Yeah. So thank you.
I'll share. I think for me, what struck me in this practice today was when you said turn towards a part of the body. In the beginning, I noticed turning myself towards a part of the body, and then I noticed immediately that I wasn't turning with any kindness. You know, I was turning to a point in my body with so much judgment. And in fact, maybe the judgment was secondary. The first thing was an attitude of like, I've got to fix this. Okay, there's tightness here. This has to be dealt with. There's not supposed to be tightness. I'm supposed to be at ease. Really military style attitude towards my practice and my body in this moment. And just having those words that you'd shared previously about like, you know, the kindness, you know, and that listening is a form of kindness and a form of compassion. I just was like, okay, hi, buddy. I swear I'm not going to fix you. I'm not going to judge you. For now, you just get to be what you need to be. And I'm just going to try. I mean, it took a lot of going back and forth, but it was a beautiful reminder to, and a beautiful noticing from the prompts that you gave. So thank you. It was, yeah, that's really helpful.
Thank you. It's really powerful. It reminds me of this poem. I don't know, some of you might know it where, oh, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's a woman who's talking about, oh, she asks her body, you know, do you want this? Do you want some food? Do you want like this? She has a whole list of things. And her body's like, no, I just want you to kind of accept me as I am right now.
I want to share. Hi, everyone. So nice to see the waterfall fairies here and everyone. Yeah, thank you, Maia, for sharing so like honestly and authentically about meditation. It's such a like refreshing thing to hear, because often when you listen to teachers who have a lot of experience with meditation, it's like, whoa, that's not what it's like for me to meditate, you know? And also the images that we have of people meditating, I'm thinking of like the stock images. You're so right. It's someone who's like really toned and fit, and they're like focusing on well-being, and they're wearing certain kinds of clothes, and maybe they're outside and like the wind is blowing and it's like beautiful. But yeah, often meditation is like really difficult and really, yeah, something that I have a lot of resistance towards. And yeah, just thank you for reiterating that it's okay, that it's about being with things as they are, and rather than putting another layer on like, oh, I'm a bad meditator, or this is never going to work, but just having like softening and having kindness that the experience as it is the way it is. And that's what meditation is about. So just thank you.
had a teacher who always used to say, that's why it's called a practice. You know, exactly why it's called a practice is because there's just no perfecting it. And every time you sit on your mat, you're back at square one. No matter how many years you've been practicing, you're back at square one with the physical limitations, the mental limitations, the emotional limitations, and all of that. And our job is just to practice being present every time. Yeah, thank you for the beautiful reminder.
I'll share a little bit. Hi, everyone. So I just want to express like appreciation that the stillness of this practice brings, because like my daily practice for a while has been Kundalini yoga, and that's just like there's always something going on. There's always like movement and the next thing, and how long are we here for? And I've just been really enjoying coming to these sessions with Maya, Neil, and Pumla, and just like having a bit more of a still practice where I'm not having to actually like do and exert so much energy, but just kind of be here and be here in community as well. So I'm really grateful for that.
It's lovely to have you here. Yeah, and I was thinking there is something about the stillness, you know, and meditation. You know, even when you're doing walking meditation, you know, you kind of often like cordon off a path and go back and forth. So even though there's this repetitive movement, there's a kind of, well, it's a repetitive movement. So there's a kind of stillness, a kind of like laying down the laying down distractions in a sense, you know, like not it has to, it almost has to be a bit boring. You know, that's kind of part of it. Whereas like, you know, when you're doing yoga and there are lots of different exercises, your mind's always engaged in the next thing, but just this kind of containment of either walking or sitting, we're kind of forced to bring our awareness. It forces us. So the form isn't, you know, the form is very helpful. It forces us to, forces our awareness to have like together in a sense. Maybe force is a bad word. Encourages, you know. No, forget it. With
kindly forces.
Yeah, but it is. It does. It kind of, you know, you consciously choosing to be put in the situation where your awareness has to, you know, slowly gathers. Mm.
I think if no one else has any more questions or comments, we would love to do a sharing of blessings, just sending this beautiful energy out to everybody.
Yeah. Just firstly, gratitude to all of you for showing up. It's so lovely to see your faces and squares and feel the friendliness, this friendliness. I'm feeling an energy of friendliness, us together. And may the blessings of this practice, may it touch all those parts of us that have been most forgotten, that are most lonely. May the blessings of this practice soften those parts and invite them in. May they reverberate to touch friends and family who are struggling with loneliness, sadness, grief. May the blessings of this practice move out to touch all beings who are caught in loneliness, grief, sadness. May we all be invited into this friendliness that is our birthright as beings on this beautiful planet. May we remember our place with the mountains and rivers and wild ones. Remember our home. It's always there for us. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Maya, for holding space for us and guiding us. Thanks to everyone that's here. And as you know, these sessions are free and will continue to be free always. But donations are always welcome to sustain us in the center. And if you would like to make a donation, Neil is going to put it in the chat. It's also on our website. Links to PayPal or banking details. Yeah, this is just a beautiful safe space, a free space for anyone to meet every first Wednesday of the month. And yeah, send us comments, send us feedback. Is there any particular topic or question or thing you'd like to explore in your practice? We can always bring that into the monthly sessions as well. So much gratitude to everyone. Have a beautiful evening.
Love and blessings to you all.